Okay, next one on our tutorial series for sketching is 2-point perspective. So you would have done 2-point perspective probably in S2 when you did the house. This should be hopefully a whole lot simpler than the house. Again, it's just rectangle, so it's not overly complex. In 2-point perspective, you're looking at creating two vanishing points on your page. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to stick a couple of layers on there. Layer 2 is going to be the layer for my construction lines. I'm using Procreate on my iPad Pro. Pencil and paper works just as well for this one. So point number 1 is our two vanishing points. I'm going to stick two vanishing points at the left and right hand side of my page. You want them to be about the same height, so VP1 and VP2 come into play. You're then starting to think about a horizontal line, a vertical line for the front edge of your table. The lower the vertical line against your vanishing points, then the more of the top of the table you're going to see. So I'm going to come in, probably just offset slightly to the left, and create a vertical line in here for my table, and I'm going to take the top and the bottom of that vertical line back to the vanishing points. I'm hoping that as I'm talking about this, it all kind of comes flooding back to you over what you did a couple of years ago. So I've got our vanishing points, and again, vanishing point over here, and I've got another vanishing point over here. So I've got the general the vanishing points in play. I'm now going to think of the front kind of edge of this table. So I want the front kind of edge. I'm going to create a vertical line over here somewhere, and that will give the front of the table, and a vertical line giving the side of the table over around about here. I'm going to edit that a little bit just to straighten it up. So that gives me my overall almost the proportions of the tables. Need to come back from the top of this line back to the vanishing point over here, and I'll just move that ever so slightly, and again coming from the back of the other side back to my vanishing point. It's not looking too bad, and I probably just want to do the same at the bottom just to get that full cube in place. So I've got the full crate to create this dining room table. So we're in here and coming out the other side, and if I come up at the back here, then that should give me my full shape coming into place. So I've got the crate here now for my dining room table. I'm going to do the top of the table first. So the top of the table, we're estimating probably this size up here, and coming in down to about here, I'm just going to take that back to vanishing point 2, then back to vanishing point 1, and from there I've got enough to effectively draw on the top of the table. So I'm just going to go and draw that in just now in black. Just keep it nice and firm. Bringing this into play. It's up to you how you want to do this. You can either fill them in as you go through the table, or you can do it all at the end. It's purely personal preference. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. The more you practice this, then the more you'll decide what you like. Didn't really mean to move that line. I meant to draw another new one. Coming for the front edge of your table in here. Vertical line over here. Bring that up and finish off the top of my tabletop. And That's looking all right. If I go and switch off layer 2, I can see that I'm fairly happy there. It's a tabletop. Bringing on that layer again, going back into my layer, I can start to think about the base in here. So the base, we already kind of decided when we were doing our isometric that we're probably looking at it's coming in part of the way. So I'd like to just put in my construction lines, just estimate where things are going. It's always good to get those estimates in play nice and early, and just create that kind of footprint for the base. As I said, everything goes in with crates, everything goes in with construction lines, and it's the more you practice this, the better you get at 1 point, 2 point perspective. So we're coming in here, and that probably gives me enough to put the legs in, just where I'm going to go. So I'm just going to pan in a little bit here, and the front leg starts here up to the top of the table, parallel to that front bar, and from here up to the top of the table, parallel to the front bar. Nothing really changes in there. I can't really see any other line than going just for the thickness of the leg, and I've brought that up to there. Quite happy with that. I don't think I want to change too much. We'll probably do the same now for the back legs. Coming into play here, over here, and over here, just over how much I'm going to see, and I'll just add a line in there. Now, this area here is going to look smaller than this area here, and that's just purely down to perspective and distance, because the line at the back is further away than the line at the front. I'm going to take those two lines away just to tidy up the drawing. So I've got my legs. Next point we're looking at here is that kind of beam that goes at the front of the table, or it goes all the way through, the kind of foot beam. And again, if I put a marker in here and take that all the way back to the vanishing point, and another one in here, then I can start to think about the height for that beam. It wants to be in the middle somewhere, and we can get the exact middle of that. If we want to get the exact middle of a surface, then we would join the diagonals, but I'm just going to estimate it. And I'm going to come in around about here, vertical line, and another vertical line. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more complex and where we've got to go do a little bit of thinking, because the beam comes out of the front of that shape in there. So I'm going to take that back to vanishing point 2 first of all, and then I'm going to extend the lines forward off of the 1, 2, 3, the 4 points of that square for the beam, and then we can work out where they go on the back surface as well. So coming off of beam there, take it all the way back to vanishing point 2 over here. I'm going to edit my shape, and if you do this with a rule, it's a lot easier than what I'm doing just now. Again, coming in with the shape, and I'm going to edit that one, bring it forward a wee bit, and we'll do the two bottom lines as well. Starting to get quite busy here with lines, which is always going to happen with 2 point perspective. It's not letting me edit. I'm going to go back in and do that one so I can go in and edit my shape. Bring it forward, and I'll do the same for that line in here. It kind of merges into the line behind it, just because it's a rectangle, and we'll edit that shape going forward there. So I've got that one in. Probably similar to what we did the last time. I'm going to pencil in the front of that shape just to make it a little bit more visible for me and you as we're going through this. So let's increase the visibility here, I'll see what's going on here. Let's zoom in a little bit, edit that down. I'll also see what's going on here. Quite happy about that. And that's coming out that top left, which gives me an area here. I've got a vertical, and as soon as we've got a vertical, then we're starting to think about vanishing points again. So if I join that up there, it probably makes that a little bit clearer. I then come back into layer 2, back on my vanishing points, and I'm going to take top of that back to there, and there, back to the vanishing point again. Jump back into the top layers just so we can firm that in completely. If we're going from there to there, bring that across. Probably looking at bringing that one down vertically over to here, and then we can see that full front shape coming into play. While we're in here, we might as well firm in the leg, if we can still see that, if we can remember where that one goes. In here, across the bottom, front beam's in the way, across the bottom again, and we're coming up, cross again, and we're coming up, and I'm just going to edit that shape a wee bit, just to line that up, and come out of there fairly happy with that. And again, as we go towards the back of the shape again, it's pretty similar way that we're going to be creating that. We're going to go back into layer 2 here, bring in the lighter line, and we're estimating the overall height of this, or we could even bring this back, couldn't we? So if we take the vanishing point back off at that one, I need to undo that and zoom further out. So take the vanishing point back off of here and all the way up, and off of here and all the way up. Then I can zoom into the back almost, and where that line intersects, come back to the vanishing point. Well, that line intersects, come back to the vanishing point. So there's a lot of lines happening here, and we can almost see here as soon as the first one comes in, and then we'll probably understand it. I'm just tracing back from one sake, and I think we come in about here, and that'll start to give us the proper area. So I'm going to go back in the top layer, onto the black, and firm in the beam coming across. So the beam comes down. Probably want to edit that just so it's a little bit more vertical. We're coming across. So I've got the back end of my beam. We're in here, tracing the lines. It's fairly complex. I can see my leg now, if I put that back into play, the table leg, coming across again, across that way. The beam's in the way, bring it down. I don't quite see that bottom corner, and if I zoom out, I think I'm pretty much finished the table. If I go in, switch out layer 2, and I've got our table there in 2-point perspective. So hopefully you've followed that tutorial. It is fairly complex. There's a lot of lines in there, but it is just a case of taking your time, remembering what line goes down where, chunking the process, and creating a 2-point perspective sketch of your kitchen table.